Hey, good day, everyone. Welcome to the Monday live hybrid live show. Dave is back. He wants you to be nice to your judge. And special guest. I couldn't figure out how to say it before. The box over jump queen. What are you known as?
I think it's just box over queen.
Okay, box over queen. Fine. But
we'll just roll with it.
As anybody who knows me knows, when news happens, I break it. And we just found out about this DQ from Tangi. And so I messaged Tangi. I hope I'm saying his name right. And I messaged HYROX, and they both gave me the response. So we're going to bring him on right now, live from the other side of the fucking world. Hello, my friend.
Hi, guys. How are you?
He is not driving, by the way. He is a passenger. I made sure of that because we do safety is our number one priority over here. First of all, everyone says your name wrong. Is it Tangi? You taught me the right way, and I already blew it, I think.
No, you said it properly. Yeah, it's Tangi.
Tangi.
Yeah.
So you're on here with Dave and Amber, and we want to find out what happened. I want to say to the audience that what I found out was just a few hours ago because people were messaging me that your name was out of the results. I messaged HYROX and was told, this is what happened. We disqualified him, but hey, like, he's welcome. No harm, no foul. We get it. Like, he gets another chance. And then you said, yeah, I fucked up and I probably deserved it. So first of all, it's great because we rarely have that in our sports. There's usually a lot of, what do you call it? There's a lot of back and forth, and he said, she said. So good on you for owning it, and good on HYROX for owning it. Now, why don't you tell us what actually happened at your race? Where did the fun begin?
So it happened like everything started happening like during after the farmer walk, the farmer carry. So we have the same judge in all the HYROX races. So since Melbourne, Sydney, and Brisbane. So obviously they are like qualified and they are like good judge. They are a good judge. And I really think we need that type of level, like when you try to reach like elite level, you need to have also like elite judge, which is good. But yeah, for my part, like after the farmer carry, so I dropped my kettlebell. You know, you need to drop them in this little line. There's a line, and you need to put this kettlebell in the line. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear
me?
Yeah. And obviously, I didn't put them in this little square. And that judge called me back, so I left. I was running back the track, and she called me back to move them in this square. And yeah, I lost it. I was like not happy with my own race, and yeah, I lost it. And I told her that I was pissed off. I told her, you are pissing me off. I regret it, but it was nothing like personal. It's not like I insult her like intentionally, and it was more like the time running, but I should have done the right things, and I didn't. And so I kept running, and then in the lunges, so straight after, like another head judge, she was doing also a job, like, and I think my heel didn't pass the line on one lunges. You know, when you turn at the lunges, you need to pass the line, and I think my heel stay on the line or something. So I didn't understand. I didn't get it straight, and she asked me to come back. So I didn't listen to her. I kept walking, and then she yelled at me like to make me understand I need to go back. So I went back, and I did what she said, and then I kept going. and I felt like she was trying to find like of me doing a mistake with the hips extension or whatever. And I said, I told her, you fucking do properly, because she was doing her job properly actually, but I just felt like she was on me and a bit rude, but it was just me like being in a bad day, and it is what it is. My bad all the way. Nothing to complain about what they did. So it's me. And then I finished the race. Then some wall ball. I got like 20. It was the same judge. I got like 20, 25 no reps, I think, because the ball was touching the target on the way down. It touched on the way up. But on that one, I didn't even say anything because I knew I was wrong. So I was just looking at her and accepting it. And then I finished. And they told me 20 minutes after, they called me and we had a chat. And yeah, I just told them like, at the beginning it was hard to accept, because I was like, it's not like them, or I was like very with them way of them. Thank you for like being
really
like
froze.
this. No. Thank you. No. Thank you for like being like fair, because they were fair. Like, I mean, I did mistake obviously, but I said I've been judged in the past. I did some no reps in the past, and I have been with some judge sometimes. The way they talk with the athletes, it can help more than if someone is a bit rude with you. For my part, it can destroy you. And if you have a judge like kind of encouraging and say, watch you this or watch this, or it will be for my part, it will help more than someone a bit rude with me. But like, it's gonna be a lesson for me definitely, and we need judge like this for like everyone. Yeah, everyone, especially when you try to reach some time and there is like, yeah. So,
all right, so Dave, you've judged a lot. You're known for your strict adherence to rules. You're an advocate for rules. You help races. You offer up your ideas. What I want to give you the first crack at questions for Tangi.
Well, first off, I guess it wouldn't be a question, it'd be a statement, and I'm just going to say, good for you for owning up, man. Like we all make mistakes. Shit goes wrong.
yeah.
You owned it, and that's cool. That's all you can do, right? That's it. You learn from it and move to the next time. I don't really say I have a question. I mean, you put it all out there. You owned it yourself, and you say so. There are really no questions. I will say that I believe I'm glad to see HYROX do this, and I'm sorry if that comes off bad to you, Tangi. I'm not saying I'm glad you got DQ'd, but I'm glad that they're supporting their judges and supporting their volunteers, because you need to do that. And otherwise, the judging and volunteering is not so much of it's a very thankless position, and it's very hard to do. So you need the support of the company so that when you make calls, you'll have the backing. Because if you don't back the judges, then they won't make the tough calls. They won't make the no reps, and then the sport loses legitimacy and becomes like he says, it becomes unfair. So I just want to say, yeah, I think obviously I agree with their call, and you can't disrespect the judges, but I also say hats off to you. Lots of respect for you saying it was on me, my bad. I'm going to learn from it. I'm going to be better next time, and to even commend the judges for making the right call. So dude, lots of respect. Good on you. True sportsmanship. Well done.
Thanks. Appreciate it. And yeah, like I'm gonna be there's just gonna be a lesson for me. I definitely can't say like, oh, it's because of them, it's because of this. I'm the only one like making this. Like, it didn't happen to anyone else. And yeah, like, so of course at the moment I should control my feelings, but then I thought about it like afterwards. I was like, I mean, I just need to stop this, and no, it's just gonna be a lesson. Yeah, it's gonna be a lesson for me, but I'm very happy that we can have every judge, like, I mean, for the elite waves, elite judge, all the judge should be like this, I reckon, because I didn't complain about it. But in Sydney, I got penalty at least, and you need to have some warning before get the penalty. And that judge, so it was another judge in Sydney, made me step back like 8 to 10 meters straight after the first warning. And this, I didn't complain about it. I didn't say anything. Now I've been disqualified. It's falling on me. But sometimes, like, all the judges need to have the same, like, the same criteria to judge the athlete. You know what I mean? And yeah, so yeah.
In a situation like that, I believe if you're talking on the sled pull, that they're supposed to give you. Sorry, you were talking on the sled pull when you got the penalty before?
No. On Sydney, I got the penalty on the burpees. So you need to have a warning. I'm pretty sure you need to have a warning. It tells you your hand or something need to be closer to your feet or whatever. And that judge in Sydney made me step back straight. So
yeah.
So it's like most of the time I reckon, especially these two judges that I had to go with them, I'm sure they will have given me the warning because obviously they knew what they were perfectly doing their job. But in Sydney, for me, it's not fair what happened. And if it would be, let's say, someone else, like an elite 15 guy or something, he would have mentioned it. But because it's me and I'm not there yet, it's.
So, I want to, while I have you on, because you and I have never spoken and we've never met. I just wanted to say your name right when I did the post the other day when we were highlighting the athletes there. We can tell by your amazing accent that you are not Australian. You are in fact French. And do you reside there, or you just like going to Australia for races?
No, I'm living here. I'm living here since like 5 years.
Right, because you come from ultra running, correct? From mountain running?
No, not really. Like, I mean, I'm coming from the Alps, from the French Alps, from a ski resort close to Chamonix. I don't know if you know. And so I was ski and snowboard instructor back home, and I didn't speak English like 5 years ago, and I had so many like English people. We had so many English people coming to ski and snowboarding. So at some stage I had to talk. Like I had to check what I was going to teach them on the chairlift for the next slope. So it was a bit embarrassing, you know. And I was like, I need to speak English, or I just left to Australia. And I was only thinking about staying like 10 months. And I'm still here 5 years later. So obviously I like it for now.
But like 5-6 years ago, you were a runner. You were an ultra runner.
Yeah. I mean, I was doing like some trail, like hiking races, but I can't say I'm a pure runner because I always used to train like hybrid style.
Hybrid style?
But hybrid style. But I was doing like alpine ski races at a very good level. And soccer, playing a lot of soccer too. But then I was always training like running and like hybrid thing, but not. I did like maybe 3 or 4 hiking races. It wasn't my specialty, I would say. Off soccer season and ski season, I was doing this. Yeah.
All right. Well, listen. Thanks for coming on, and we will definitely talk more soon. What do you have next? Are you going to go all the way over to Perth?
Yeah, we're going to Perth. Yeah, 14th of September. 14th of September. Yeah, I'm going there.
All right, man.
So, yeah.
We will talk to you soon.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Best of luck.
Appreciate it.
See you.
Guys.
Well, there you go. Breaking news.
Right from the horse's mouth.
I think it's very, very suiting that Dave's caption is "Be nice to your judge" today. Just saying. That's all I could think about that whole time.
So, when I'm sitting there and I'm listening to this and I think back, and he brought up a point, and I know it was a little hard to understand him and stuff sometimes, but he brought up a point of if he was in the Elite 15, this was back in Melbourne or whatever the race was before, that he maybe would have received a warning instead of an instant penalty. And maybe he would, maybe he wouldn't. I think that is a judge's prerogative. I have not seen on burpees somebody just jump right into the penalty, right? And so who knows? Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. But what I think I see here, though, is HYROX jumping in on something and making it, disqualifying him this time because of what happened at Worlds with Sandy.
Well,
and wanting to, and I think it's a good thing, wanting to set a precedence of, hey, this will not be tolerated.
Well, so there's a couple things to point out. First of all, I thought that's what all the comments were going to be. What about Sandy? What about Sandy? I was shocked that there hasn't been. I'm sure, it still is only a couple hours old that it'll happen. But here's the thing to understand. This wasn't made by Mintra or Mo.
No.
This was made by the HYROX race director, right?
Yeah.
So maybe they'll run a tighter ship than America or UK or Europe. Maybe they won't. We of course want it to be across the board, but clearly the judge made their case to the race director, and the Australian race director said, yeah, he's like, that's it. So again, I'm so grateful, Dave. We've spent a decade on effed up Spartan rules, and it's just nice to a judge made a clear ruling. Here's what it was. Here's the explanation, and the person that did it owned up to it. It's just rare that we get that. So I was actually going to start with, I had a surprise for Dave, and I still want to do it. So it's my next item up for bids is surprise for Dave.
Funny, it's not on my notes.
I know it's definitely not on your notes. Hang on. Just give me 1 second. I really hope you can hear it.
Okay. Well, you let me know when it comes.
Okay.
Amber's had her fair share of judging too, and I mean, like, I don't know, what do you think? Like, it's so we gotta be quiet.
Well,
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Okay, go ahead.
It's not letting me.
No, I was
Go
just
ahead.
gonna say, it's like, as an athlete too, I think it's important to be held accountable, especially like if you're training, like train the standards so that they transfer over and race, because race brain happens, like you get in the heat of the moment. I just think it's so important to just train that anyways. And I always actually respect when a judge calls me out on it, because in the moment it might feel like you're doing it, but you're going so fast that you're not, or whatever, right? So I think props to the judge for actually making the call personally, and good for him though for just accepting it and owning it too at the same point, right? Because nobody's perfect.
Well, and it sounds like his judges, and we're not there, so we're completely speculating, but it does sound like maybe there was like a little ego involved on the judge's part, because now it's like following him around, and it's kind of hard to undo that, right? It just happened to be the same judge because they were following the Elite 15, I guess. Yeah. But we want the judge to be impartial, right? And judge it all the same. But sometimes judges get egos involved too, right? Because they're like, oh, well, now I got this fucking guy's number. So,
well, if somebody starts giving you grief as a judge, and you're going to be with them for the rest of the time, no, you're not going to be very lenient. You're going to be just true. I mean, watch any NFL, NHL, or NBA game, and you'll see that right away.
Although sometimes it works. Sometimes you give them a little, pushback, and then they lighten up, but not always.
But there's a difference between.
I'm not knowing from experience.
Yeah, but there's a difference between pushback and disrespect, right? Like, you can say, "Oh man, I don't like that call. I don't like that call," and that's cool. That's great. Right. And same, like,
well, whether you like it or not, do it, because you're not the judge. You're the athlete.
And
so, like,
you're not going to win the argument either.
Do it. Yeah.
I remember coaching my son's soccer and getting a bad call, and I said to the ref, I strongly disagree. Like,
oh, you don't want to see me on the side of a soccer field. I disagree with the referees a lot.
How many games have you got kicked out as a parent?
Actually, I've never been kicked out.
Oh,
not as a parent yet. My little guy's only 6. Probably pretty close as a wife, though. Not gonna lie. I'm riding that fine line a few times.
Getting kicked out as a wife?
Almost. I mean, when someone goes, studs in on my husband, I'm not okay with that. I need a race partner for DECA, so they need to back off.
Is he a catcher?
Soccer.
Oh, soccer. They slide tackle all the time.
Cleat.
Yeah. Cleat.
Okay.
Cleat up.
Okay, that's why I was thinking. Like in when you're a catcher, if somebody like slid into you like with their feet, I don't know, or a second baseman.
Same kind of deal, just in soccer.
Right.
Just
All
in
right, Dave, you
soccer.
have to wait for your surprise till next week. Sorry, buddy.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh.
I'll find. It's a long story. It's not even that big of a deal now that I said that.
It's
But
completely built up and down, just trash.
but listen, I want to talk. I definitely want to talk Melbourne results. I want to talk DECA coming up this weekend. But the reason I brought Amber on is because you put on something called HYROX, and
Mhm.
it was, from what I can tell, kind of a big deal. Like it wasn't just at a gym. Like you rented the Rogers Center or something.
Oh,
Not quite. That'd be fun though. The Niagara Convention Center. So it was actually it was a blast. We tried to make it as race-like as possible to simulate and give the Canadian community an opportunity before HYROX Toronto, because there really hasn't been any like full HYROX here. Toronto's going to be the first one. So we just figured, you know what, let's give everybody like the best race-like feel possible. So we did a HYROX. We set it up like almost, well, I can't say identical to what I'm just going to feel like. We set it up with like an actual like rock zone where you had to like exit the running course, go through the rock zone, into the zones, exit. So it was awesome. We had individuals all day Saturday. We had doubles on Sunday and team relays on Sunday as well. So really great opportunity for everybody to get their first taste of what a HYROX feels like in a race setting.
How many people went through the weekend?
We had like over 100 each day.
I mean, that's not small. Like people don't understand. That's I mean, you know, HYROX only had like 300 something, I think, at the first Chicago event, or 400 something. So I guess I want to know, like, as a gym owner, you just thought, I want to do something bigger than just a HYROX in my gym. I want to put on this, like, you had to call the venue. Like, this is a whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody's ever been to any of our events, they know it's a production. We don't do anything like small at Fear Impact. So yeah, again, it was just like we really wanted to bring a race-like feel, because when you do it in a gym, you don't get the feel of a rock zone, like, which is probably the most confusing part when you go to a HYROX, is figuring that out, right? So we thought, well, why not do it like a HYROX, but just make it half? So they ran two 250-meter loops. So they did a 500-meter run, and then we just cut all the zones in half as well. So it was a 500-meter ski, and then back out. So they did their 2 laps, enter on the second lap, hit the next zone, exit. It was awesome. And you know what? A lot of people were really grateful that we did it that way, because they're like, whoa, I can't imagine having to figure this out like in a full-blown HYROX where there's like hundreds of people on the course at any given time, because we only launched like 3 or 4 people in a heat just to give everybody space. We had volunteers out there telling them like where to go. So it was a great learning experience for the Canadian community, really.
Weight's the same as men, women in HYROX?
Yeah, the only thing that we did different was we utilized tanks for the sled push. We did like a tank push, but just to make it more like sled light feel, we actually let the air out of the tires on the tanks and put some weight in. And you would be shocked at the difference that makes on those tanks. It actually felt like a sled.
So I was there and obviously did it. And then this weekend I was down at One Academy and did the sleds at weight there, and it wasn't much different. Like it was, it worked well. Was it the same as the sled? No, but it was pretty good, and it was definitely heavy, and it had some push to it. That letting the air out of the tires made a big difference.
Yeah, it was, and I mean the slippery convention floor also added a little extra spice.
So, from my understanding, I talked to Constantine, and he said, if you're a HYROX affiliate, by the way, I'm on my front porch, and these fucking mosquitoes are really horrible. So you might see me freak out and spray something. I already like covered myself in it, and it's all I can smell. But from what I understand, if you're a HYROX affiliate, unlike DECA, where you can do the mile or strong, and we kind of have it standardized. I know we don't, Dave, but we try. You can kind of do whatever you want, right? You could have done a 3/4 rocks if you wanted to.
Yep.
You could do pretty much anything and use the word HYROX in it, which I really like. And something I brought up, I don't know, Dave, if you listened last week, I know you're a pretty loyal listener, but I talked about, like, could we make a leaderboard? Like, let's say we hosted it, HFM hosted it, and then you and everyone else would just send us your results, and it's a thing. Like a HYROX is a thing, and it's just kind of fun for the community to do. What do you think about that?
I honestly think that's a really cool idea because it's such a different race. Like it's such a different pacing. I mean, as much as we tried to simulate the setup, you're gonna run a different pace for a 500 than you are for a kilometer, right? It did kind of change the dynamic of the race slightly, um, in a super fun way. I think that's exciting though. I would do that. I'd be for it.
Do you think it's realistic for most gyms?
I mean, as long as they're gonna like actually measure, like, and the only difference would be like if you've ever done the PFT where they do the like burpee broad jumps like over a line and back, I think you would just have to like make it legit. You're either doing the burpee broad jump in like 10-meter lengths or whatever your space accommodates.
Yeah, I wouldn't do a
I
line.
don't think, yeah, I don't think the line should count if you were gonna like count it as a leaderboard HYROX type thing. But everything else, like, I don't see why not.
The problem is, I think so many gyms to set up a HYROX. It's a lot of space. Like, I mean,
you could use outside though. Like your farmer's carry, you could go outside to a turnaround and come back. I mean, your run's probably outside.
I would like to see a PFT leaderboard that was actually accurate.
Yeah.
Well, I think that they've just got too much going on, right? Like from the beginning, Yancey launched the gym thing as like, hey, this is going to be kind of big on the affiliates. HYROX, I'd rather, if they had enough money to hire a team and do that, cool. But I'd rather they focused on putting all these events. So that's why I'd rather not bother them. And maybe one day they'll get to it. But I'd rather be like, cool, let's just do it ourselves. Let's just have people put on events and then keep a leaderboard. Maybe we think of prizes, maybe we don't. And yes, of course, people are going to cheat. I would have something like some way to say submit video if you have a certain time or you want it to look a certain way.
If Dave requests it, you need to have your video ready.
Yeah, something like that. But that was my question. I'm not a gym owner. And I talked to Bubbles a little bit. Is like, what do most people have and not have in a gym? Like, is it the sleds that people don't have? Is it the machines that they don't have? What are most? I mean, if you're a HYROX gym, you probably do have everything, right?
Yeah,
I think it's the space.
I think it's the weights, because if you're going to have multiple sleds, like we had 5. Did we have 5 sled pulls set up last week? Yeah, we had 5, and we had them stacked to the men's weights. Like, you're talking, you need over 1,000 pounds depending on the weight of the sleds, right? So like a lot of gyms just don't maybe have enough weights to accommodate more than a couple sleds, because if you're doing the push and the pull, like you need a lot of weight. Right. But that's why we got creative and we used the tank, because then we didn't need so many weight plates to accommodate like 10 sleds at any given time. You know what I mean? And HYROX is really cool about that. They want to see gyms using what they have, because you're hosting a standalone event because there's no leaderboard, right? So they're like, get creative, use what we have, and just offer what you can basically under the HYROX affiliation. So they're awesome to work with. I'll be honest. It was great.
Yeah. The DECA miles that I've been to, like 3 people went off at a time. You know, it wasn't like there was like all these machines. That they only had, I think, 2 sleds. So, all right. TBD. I don't know if I'm going to do it or not. If anybody's listening and wants to maybe help with it, I don't know, because it is work.
Doing the PFT, because the PFT is easier. It's smaller. It's shorter. More people can do it. It's easier to judge. And the problem with the HYROX is, even if you have all the equipment, it's the running space, and then you have to have, even if you only set off 3 people at once, but then they're all going to populate that running space because it's the same space, because people are going to be out there for like a half hour, 40 minutes. And then you're going to have everybody populating a very small running space if you don't have a giant convention center.
Wait a minute, hang on. So if you like the DECA mile that I did, right? You run out, you come into the station, run out, come into the station. Why can't you do the same thing?
You can, but you're dealing with 160 meters compared to 500 meters. It's just a lot more layout. You know,
I mean, the lap is only the lap, right? So the place that I did it, we went down and back in the parking lot. If it was 500 meters, we would go further down and back in the parking lot. Like, what's the difference?
Well, I mean, if you have that much parking lot, right? Not a lot of gyms do not have that much access to that much parking lot. Like 500 meters is a long way. I'm just saying, I think for the PFT is a little easier to manage if you're doing that. And especially if you want to keep a legitimate leaderboard, the bigger and more stuff you put in it, the more variances you have in it, the less legitimate your leaderboard is going to be.
What if I told you the
The-
term HYROX is a lot cooler than the word PFD?
Called it a quarter
That's
rush.
true.
I don't know. It is very
the
much
PFT
cooler.
though, I mean, we hosted a PFT and we put like 50 people through here, and that was super basic because you just needed. We did. I think we were launching 5 at a time that day because we had 5 rowers. Super simple, but you're right. It is a kilometer run, so we had to go out and like down the road a little bit of
Yeah.
ways. So that was the only like confusing part. Somebody missed the turnaround. I tried to put a lot of signs, big purple pieces of paper, but I mean, so that's the only downfall is the run does generally have to go down the road for most gyms, but I guess marking it, whether it's a 500 or meter or kilometer, it's
Did
marked
they have to
right.
go? Did they have to go oot and a boot, Amber?
Ain't about, boy.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. And they got lost. Yeah, it's fine.
I didn't get
They
lost
made
because
it
I followed
back,
Nick.
so it's fine.
I made
Yeah,
sure
I tried
what
to
I did
keep up
was
with Zach.
I followed the guy who set up the thing. And as long as I followed him to the turnaround, I'd be fine.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I tried to keep up with Zach. That didn't work out for me.
All right.
Actually, it did,
Well,
because I beat him.
what are your goals this year, Amber? I was going to bring up something else, but since I have you here, what are your goals this year, dude?
Me?
Yeah,
well,
as an athlete.
primarily, yeah, as an athlete, I'm primarily focused on DECA. I just personally find that the duration of DECA suits my athleticism better than HYROX, although I'm working with Tara on improving my running, so I hope to be up and coming in the HYROX community at some point. I've just got a little bit of ways to go. But DECA goals right now, I've got the DECA Strong female and co-ed record. I'd like to take the mile one, so I've got some partners lined up with some trials for that. Obviously defending the title of DECA Strong Teams at Worlds. Gonna race every category in teams, probably multiple categories. So I'm just gonna, take a hit at as many team podiums as I can this year. First DECA. It's my jam.
Solid, eh? Solid.
It's my jam.
All right.
Yeah. Fast and furious. That's how I roll.
Dave.
Switch.
Dave,
Yes.
how closely did you pay attention to this weekend's times in Brisbane?
Fairly closely. I'm familiar with the times and stuff. I watched JK's stream that Georgie put on, so I watched that, and then I saw as well Joanna and her times and what's going on there. So yeah, I was paying attention.
Do you remember not too long ago we had a conversation? I believe it was with Rich, who said people weren't going to come from APAC for the Elite 15. Did he say that in Race Brain?
No, that was you. You had him on here. I was not. That was the week I was off. But yeah, I listened, and yeah. So Rich said that nobody from APAC, and so actually, I'm going to say he said nobody from APAC would qualify out of Hong Kong for Worlds. So.
Out of that major. So it hasn't happened yet.
So it hasn't happened yet there. Now, what has happened, though, is that Joanna from Australia has slammed the door open and said, I'm here. Like, she had, I think it was a 105 was her previous best, and this time she was under 101, under 61.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's not been very many women who have hit that 60 marker. I mean, I think we're talking 4, maybe.
Yeah, I think Anthony said 4 women or less have hit that. And if you listen when I talked to her, super humble too. I was like, "Are you buying your ticket to Hong Kong?" She's like, "Oh, not yet. Let's see how it goes." And so
but that was prior to this race. Now I think she's.
No, I'm saying that's what I'm saying
yeah.
is that she I don't think even she knew what she was capable of.
Because I think now she's probably sitting in the first or second position after the guaranteed qualifiers for the majors.
Right. And what's her name's is going to drop off here pretty soon. Michaela, so she'll move up another notch.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, she looks like she is poised to do some damage. And again, maybe in Hong Kong where we're not sure who's going to show up, although I am pretty certain Meg's going to show up, so that's a spot down. So then you're going to be down to 2 spots. So she's going to have to come in that. Well, I mean, obviously she's going to have to come in that top 3, but beating Meg is probably a long shot on that race. So that means she's going to have to probably come second or third. So who knows who's going? Rich may still win this bet. It's not over yet.
I'm just excited we have we have new people, right? Because that's kind of what we want. We want to keep seeing people come from other sports and like, oh, cool. Because like in OCR, it feels like we were like kind of always the same people. We were always waiting for that new blood. And this is a sport that, because it's so huge and people are figuring it out, like we should always have new people.
And what, she's 22, I think?
Super young. Yeah.
Wow.
So the one thing that did jump out at me about this too, and this is in a way shooting myself in the foot, where I don't like the qualification system right now even with the 2 times averages, where it seems to me that it makes it more and more difficult for new people to come in, but she has decided that that's not going to be a problem.
Right.
Yeah. But I stand by, I still don't like it. I still have my way I like, but I'm excited to see new blood. I'm excited to see her throw down. And I think if anything, she is showing a mass amount of potential. And I think this course was probably a little fast. But
yeah, did JK do like a 55 or something crazy?
Yeah, 55. He didn't PR, but he also had a lot of no reps of the wall balls.
Sounds like they have good judges down there, because
yeah,
our buddy Tangi was also no repped.
Well, I will say this: when I was watching JK, his judge was on it. The judge across from him, who was judging the woman, not so much. But anyway, doesn't matter.
Was it the electronic or not the electronic?
Not the electronic. And I think he was getting called mostly for not hitting the center of the target, which again I think is goofy. I'm not really into that. I think if you hit the target, you hit the target. If you want the target to be smaller, make the target smaller. But so he put in a quick time, but she beat Lauren Griffith head to head. And that means regardless of a fast course or not, she's legit. Because you don't beat Lauren Griffith without being an absolute badass.
You can insert the comment about jet lag now, because people always have to say that. So Monique says you haven't had them yet. Monique, are you going to get them? Let us know in the next time you comment. And I want to quickly say hey to Shiz, who wanted to say what's up. What's up, Shiz? Yeah, it's I assume like, hey, if this is what if we've got these, then every country's getting them, but maybe not. Like South Africa, which is coming up, Cape Town, that's got to be their first set of equipment. It's going to be super interesting to see what they have, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, it should all be fresh and new. But it will be, again, super interesting to see the judging, because as your judges are newer, if they're not primed properly, that's when they tend to be a little more sheepish. And I mean, the judge who DQ'd Tangi, you think about how hard it is to call a no rep on somebody when it really means something. How hard is it to DQ somebody? Like, it's not easy to say, you know what, this person has wronged enough that they should just be kicked out of the race. That's stones. You need to be really sure of yourself.
Or you're really mean. I don't know. You also could just be a mean person.
Could be a bit of both. Amber
she says definitely not Perth. Okay. And Perth is the other side of the country. It's like a really long flight. So we might see some newer people there. But no, Cape Town, I was going to say, I'm sure they'll bring over some of the other people from Australia, but maybe they won't. Maybe it'll be brand new. I mean, you'd like to think that they probably bring some experience in, but yeah, we're going to see a lot of new racers at that one. People that have never left South Africa.
What is like the training for the judges? Like, I know they're all volunteers. So what's the process? Is it like the night before a briefing, or
one of my favorite words, process. I've seen them be walked around by Lauren or whoever on the Friday night, but I guess some people can't make it Friday night, right?
Right.
Dave, I'm asking you, like, I feel like
yeah. I mean, I have not been a part of the HYROX judging course that you would take beforehand. So I'll save reservation for when I sit on that in Toronto and let you know how that goes. But I will say that it seems to me, from where I've been to almost any event, HYROX, DECA, anywhere else, that the judging instruction is, let's just say, wanting.
Okay.
It needs improvement. And I mean, Amber, you've been on a lot of these. You know that too.
Yeah. Here's my thing with like the judging though. And I think I mean, Dave knows where I stand like with the whole DECA thing. Him and I have been in conversation with Yancy a lot this year. And I personally think the more black and white they can make the skill descriptions or the like zone requirements, make it black and white. Because if you leave anything up to interpretation, the athletes are going to do whatever they think is in their best advantage, if that makes sense, right? So, I mean, coming from like a background of like, I was a gymnastics judge where everything was black and white. Like, I judged high level gymnastics. My job was to know the rules and apply them. And I feel like if judges in this sport thought of it that simply as well, like know the movement standards and enforce them, then I think we could clean up the movement standards in both sports. But if the movement standards aren't clear, then it makes it really hard for the judge, right? Like the sport needs to help us help them, you know?
Yeah, like I've had conversations before with HYROX about their wall ball standards where it's, I mean, they're focused on such a small target on the top, but we're still having the problem with depth. And one of the problems I say is in the ruling, it says hip below the knee. Well, the hip is huge and the knee is massive. What part of the hip below what part of the knee? Like they need to get more specific in that so that the judges have a clear line. Like you say, black and white, nice and simple, because the judges have a terrible time calling no reps. And I tell anyone that I'm talking to about judging, you need to think, because you won't want to call no rep on the athlete. You almost build a rapport, especially if you're there for 100 wall balls with somebody. You're like building a rapport with this person. And you're like, I don't want to call a no rep on them. I like this person. I'm with them. We're in this together, right? But when you don't call a no rep and it's deserved, you're fucking over every other person on that race. So you have to call that line. So yeah, I mean, that wasn't the question Matt asked. Matt asked what the training was like, and I don't think the training's worth a crap.
Apparently it's on the HYROX 365 app. But that's not mandatory, and it shows. Says Monique Trainer.
Nice money.
Why they haven't updated the rule book to say hip crease is baffling, says Houston, Texas 94. If that is in fact your real name.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
See, and then like how many volunteer judges going in actually have the rule book memorized? I mean, like I'm like a rule book freak because that's again my background, but like how many people actually going to volunteer actually have even read the movement standards? That's like something I always wonder. I don't know. I don't know the process. It's none of my business, but just since we're in conversation.
I mean, as an athlete who's going to compete, it's your business. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that when you say make it black and white, I think they do. I just don't think they take the time. Like the wall balls, maybe they take the time. I don't know what they tell every single judge about the burpee broad jump, because again, we've only seen elites where they walk right next to them and look for their hands. Everybody else is just kind of eyeballing it, and especially in the middle of the day when it's a zoo, right? Hang on a second. Breaking news. Monique says 99% of the Brisbane wall judges were hired from an employment agency, and a lot of them were not judging well. So I worked for Tough Mudder, I think I told you guys, where they used to hire some volunteers but they're just, handing out water or headbands. They went to an employment agency. That's bizarre. Instead of like a gym, why wouldn't you go to, if you're going to pay them, go to a gym and pay them, not some random agency? That seems bizarre.
DECA did the same thing at the Ultra.
They hired judges, but not actual judges.
They had temp workers there to fill in for spots. I mean, did I not tell you my experience judging at
DECA Ultra? No.
Oh, okay. So I am.
Oh boy.
Yeah, whatever. Let's go. So I did the first wave. I kind of live streamed the first wave of the Ultra, and it was the open waivers, right? They're doing their thing, and I saw the judging at the wall balls, or at the wall balls at the ram burpees, and I was not thrilled. I thought this is not what we want to do. Why we want to fix this? So I went to Yancey and said, Yancey, can I go over there and help them? And he said, yep, absolutely. So I went over there, and then I may have embellished the truth a bit when I got there. And I told him, listen, guys, Yancey sent me over here to get this squared away, which, is a half truth. There was an inkling of truth there. And I showed them what we wanted. I showed them what he wanted. And then I worked with them as we went. And this was probably over like a 30-minute process. People would come in and I'd be looking at them when they're judging. I'm like, no, higher, higher, higher. And I'd walk over if I saw it and I'd be like, no, you got to get there up or no repping you. And within about 25 minutes, I thought it was the best ram burpee judging by everybody that was in there that I've seen ever. They were on it. They were making sure everybody was going straight up. Everybody's doing good. And it just took a little bit of time to work with them. And the reason I laughed about it before was because they kept coming to me and asking me if they could go to the bathroom. I was like, you don't work for me. Like, I think I'm the only one here not getting paid. Like, so anyway, but it just took a little time and a little showing
But
to
that's
fix
what we've been saying, Dave, is why that's
Yeah.
what DECA's missing, and it can't be Yancey, and it can't be,
Mhm.
it's got to be a Dave, a somebody.
HYROX is doing the same thing, and they're
Like,
both
just
following
get a
different
head
rules.
judge. Just get a head judge who can keep correcting the people who are doing it wrong, and eventually, like, they'll get it right.
Yeah.
And then you got to go back because it's a long day and get new people or whatever. But once you train people, like, the flow starts happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, it's hard as a judge to, like, having a head judge makes such a difference because that judge only really has to focus on counting. And if Dave comes over and says, no, like, it's hard to correct and keep counting, especially when you're judging some of the elites who are going so fast, right?
Mm.
So the one thing that they did at Worlds, and they did fairly well with, was they did have a few of us in there kind of overseeing movement standards. Well, the judges, they just then needed to count unless we told them not to. So that worked really well at Worlds because, again, like, those elites, they're moving fast. You have half a second to tell them what to fix and then keep counting or don't keep counting. And I think you should just not count it and just say no rep. But I mean,
yeah, the little clicker thing is a gold mine if you're judging on your own, because then you can just call no rep and not click it, and then not have to worry. I hope Dave is not
I get
in Philly on Saturday, but I'll yell at you from here.
Dave, it's only a 13-hour drive from you. Why aren't you going?
Well, actually, it's only an 8.5. But yeah, we need some time off. We need a little a rest from the road, and I'm surprised Amber doesn't suffer from the same deal. They probably log as many kilometers, if not more, than me.
Yeah, I'm
Amber,
not going this weekend either.
You're not going.
No, I'm in the middle of renovating our gym, and I'm going to be away next weekend in Connecticut. So I kind of need a weekend to renovate the gym, or it's not going to happen. But Zach's going, so he'll be there to.
You're going to be next weekend. You'll be at Mohegan Sun.
No, I'll be renovating a gym. Although I'm commentating. Yeah, I'll be doing some commentating for DECA.
No, next week. You said next weekend you're going to Connecticut.
Yeah, the weekend after, like the 30th.
Right, but are you going to the casino? What are you doing?
Oh no, I'm going to Underdog for DECA Mile, DECA Strong, and then they're doing some sort of HYROX thing on the Sunday. That's some surprise workout. So that'll be fun.
So that's the thing. I was trying to cue you up. I'm trying to give some love to Underdog, but you're like not saying it now. You finally said it.
I should be blonde. It's fine.
All right. So, anything else you want to say about Melbourne? By the way, sorry, Brisbane, not Melbourne. Brisbane.
Yeah, just it looked like a good setup. It was an interesting layout on the run course. That was weird, but it didn't really seem to affect it that much. JK looks in peak form and is going to be absolutely dangerous. He will be deadly this year. I don't know what Anthony's doing for him, but it's working.
All right, cool. Well, I got names for this weekend, Dave.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a list of men and women, and I got the doubles, but you may have to help me sort through the doubles, though. Should I pull it up now, or do you have it?
You can pull it up. Doubles are tricky though, because I don't think Amber has it.
Well, you guys know the double. Hang on a second. I just got a message from DECA Australia.
Oh boy.
JK's going with that too.
Oh, look at this. Breaking news. This is what happens when you
were breaking all the Australian news. How odd.
I'm Mr. fucking APAC over here.
What time is it there right now?
It's they're 14 hours ahead. So it is 8:19 a.m. over there.
Okay.
I'm gonna pull this up.
On Tuesday.
Yes, they're in a different day than us. Now, this definitely didn't just go to me because it says, "Hey, legends." So I'm guessing this got copied and pasted a lot.
I probably have it.
You probably have it too because you're wait a minute. Do I want to
open young to be a legend yet?
Didn't make the cut. It's fine.
All right. Hey, legends. I just want to give you a heads up. First ever DECA trifecta in Melbourne, September 14th and 15th with elite prize purse. Limited spaces because of the prize purse. Last chance to qualify for world champs in Australia, for that matter. Elite prize money, 3,000 Australian. Hey, Siri, how many dollars is 3,000 Australian?
3,000 Australian dollars is $2,020.61.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. By the way, while you're on that, just so we don't forget, we forgot to mention the most important thing about Amber's HYROX. They paid out on the podium at that moment.
Let's
We
go.
did.
There
Cash
you go.
in hand.
Cash in hand.
What did you pay? What was the payout?
So it was a little bit different. It wasn't 4 individuals because we did like a team challenge component just to spice it up and make it fun. So how it worked was, for example, Tara and I were partners. So she ran solo.
Hang on a
Saturday,
second. Hang on a second. Wait a second. Wait a second. Are you telling me you won your own event? Because I call bullshit.
Well, I mean, Tara did better than me, so Tara won our event for me. I'm just kidding.
Dave.
Yeah, technically,
Dave.
but it was legit. Dave was judging. It was
Here's
legit.
Here's the thing. And I'm gonna because I thought about this too, Matt. I've had this conversation and I've thought about this. And I'm like, I get what you're saying right off the bat. It's your own event. However, it's not like a CrossFit event where everything's secret. Everybody knows what the course is like before. Everybody knows what the practice is. This is, there's nothing secretive about it. There's no hometown advantage because there's no pre-course knowledge compared to anybody else. There's also the fact of when you run an event, it's actually more difficult to compete in it than it is when you're not doing anything at it because you're on your feet all day. You're doing 500,000 other things and all that. So I get the questioning, but in this particular case, I'm okay with it. I'm all right with it. And I think if the people who run these events don't compete in them, we're going to have a lot less events because the people who are competing in them, the ones running them, did the same one and the same. So we're either going to have events and no competitors or competitors and no events. So I'm okay with it. I call it okay.
Dustin
It's
says,
true. I think we were at a disadvantage with me being on the team and hosting the event. I was exhausted. We had like 4 hours
bring in a world
sleep.
champion ringer, though. That is one. You did bring in a world champion ringer.
That's Dave's specialty.
Yeah,
Dave,
that's
normally
what I do.
too.
That's what I do. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I'm also
That's
world
true.
champ, so it's fine.
That's true. Yeah, I got to give
So
that one.
is
to you.
Kevin, and him and I came 3rd. So I only won one of the 2 teams I was on.
Anyway,
Dustin says you have a 200 level IQ. That's what my kids say when you do something smart. They're like, that's a 200 IQ move.
Nice.
Good. Anyway, so how the event worked was, so again, Tara and I, for example, were partners. So her solo time on the Saturday plus my solo time, and then we ran doubles together on the Sunday. And we combined the 3 times together, and that was like our overall score and how you ended up placed on the podium. So the prize money was $700 for first, $500 for second, $300 for third, for co-ed, male, and female category.
American or Canadian?
Canadian, so that's like less for you guys, but sorry.
Canadian funny money. It was good colors, and you can put it through your washing machine.
I was gonna say it should be more for us. I thought it would be more for us.
No, our dollar sucks right now.
Okay, sorry, I'm messaging the guy from Australia.
Right. So, by the way, you know who came 3rd in this competition and got paid out?
Who?
My wife, not me.
Let's go, Rye Claxton.
Yeah.
Let's fucking go.
Yeah, she did. And actually, I do want to mention, so we hosted it in partner with RamFit Canada, and they made the rams and attached handles onto them for the like sandbag lunges. It was so epic. It was so fun. They had the 66-pound rams here. It was awesome. I loved that. That was so cool.
I'm gonna get me one of those.
Who runs RamFit Canada?
Shout out to Tammy and Nick.
Awesome.
So they're actually members at my gym. We're friends through like soccer, and they just fell in love with DECA and hybrid, and
they're
they've
really
got
cool
history and they've got history in like transportation service. They got connected with JP to distribute in Canada, and next thing you know, they were RamFit Canada. So that's kind of the background.
I was going to say, because I didn't know
but
there was a RamFit Canada until I think I saw your post. And obviously I know JP. That's great. Dude, maybe I could be RamFit USA, bro. What do you think?
Totally.
Just gotta open a big.
I
was gonna say, just gotta get some trucks,
warehouse?
a big warehouse.
That's it.
Right? What else do you need?
That's all you need. That's all they needed.
Right? And when the tires go flat, boom, you make rams out of them, right?
There
When
you
the
go.
tires and the trucks go flat.
Yeah.
Okay. So where were we? You distracted me, guys.
DECA Northeast.
DECA Northeast, aka DECA Philly, aka DECA Oaks. I can't believe it's been a year. I was just there, it seems like 1 year ago. Me and Matt Kemp, shout out Matt Kemp. Let me pull up my what's it called? What is it called, Dave? Spreadsheet? Yeah, sure. Why
The
not?
roster?
Yeah. Oh, I like that.
I have so many windows.
Roster, the lineup.
I have so many fucking things on my desktop. I'm extremely disorganized.
By the way, the one thing that bothers me about not going to Philly, and I shouldn't say one thing because I'm going to have severe FOMO, but I like this venue, and I liked the hotel I stayed in last time, and it's close and it's easy, and it's not hard to get to. And I know that everybody loves these big cities and these epic locations. I like these things outside of the city where I can get there. I felt
Actually,
the same.
that hotel last year, did I tell you about my experience there?
No, was it bad? I had a good room. Ours was okay.
It was so bad.
Oh,
They ended
no.
up like, yeah, it was, the hotel itself was nice, but they ended up giving us like, I mean, no offense to anybody out there, but they gave us like a handicap room, so the washroom was all like wonky and just
bigger, better rooms normally.
Yeah, I thought the handicap one
No.
means you get like a giant tub that 7 people can fit in.
It was disgusting, not gonna lie.
Oh,
But it was fine.
All
And then
right,
I saw the bathrooms you guys got, and I was like, ah.
All right,
Okay,
Dave,
roster.
can we see these? Amber, can we see
Yeah.
these? I tried to
Okay.
make them large.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no problem.
All right,
This is the
so
women's lineup.
we know who Dave's rooting for.
Yeah, I got my money.
This is
pretty
your women's
soundly.
lineup. As far as we know, this is your money on Bethany, Alondra, and Katie Duke? Just with the names that jump out at me.
Whew, yeah, I mean that would be that would be your favorites for your podium. Yeah, Bethany, Alondra, Katie Duke. If you go by past times, for sure. You got a couple other big names. One you just interviewed there, Chelsea Grant, making her debut. I don't know if Chelsea's ready to crack the podium there for that, but she's going to be really good on the stations. And if she keeps her running in control, she can definitely make some damage. Dixie Bonner's always in the mix there. Who else we got?
Janelle Teal's been making the name
Janelle
for
Teal,
herself
I didn't
this
see
year
her.
too.
Yeah, she was amazing at the Ultra, like absolutely on fire.
Was Michelle top 5? Navarro, was Michelle top 5 in last year's World Champs? I can't remember.
No, but she was in the elite for World Champs last year, and I think who did she partner? Did she partner with Dylan in 2022? Maybe. Michelle's got wheels. She's a good runner. It's always been the stations that have kind of kept her out of really the top, but her and Beth have had some good races, especially when it comes to the running. And that and Michelle is just like the nicest person in the world.
Chelsea, she's one of yours, Amber, right? Aren't you mentoring her? Isn't she your little Padawan?
Yes, I am. So shout out to Chelsea making her elite debut this weekend. So pumped for her.
All right. Anything else you want to say?
I'm just looking at the rest here, seeing like I think that'll be a good race. So Amber,
we should look at.
Yeah,
we need to.
You'll have fun with that.
We need to look at the. We need to look at the times, right? Whoa, you guys see that?
Yeah, it just went all like blurry.
Whoa,
it's like the screen sideways and blurry. Oh, and now Amber left.
What'd you do, Dave? Why'd you get rid of her?
You offended Amber with your sideways blurry screen, and she couldn't take it anymore. I mean, I don't blame her.
I want to pull up the times. What do you think?
Yeah, go ahead.
Deca Fit leaderboard. You probably know off the top of your head.
No, not off the top of my head, but I do know from the past, like Amber said, Janelle Teal she's on fire this year, so she'll be good. But Michelle Navarro was probably in around the 36s, maybe the 35. Bethany last year, she was like a 34-30, something around that area.
All right, top 15 this year.
So for this year, I think Beth's is like a 37. She didn't really have a great race last time.
No, I'm saying, are you seeing this? You've got to be in the top 15.
So, you top one? Yeah.
So you got to be 35-57 or better. That's not too hard to beat, right?
Yep. So you get Well, it's not super easy, but yeah. 35-57. That's where we're at right now. So you do see Katie Duke is up there.
She's already got a time.
Yep, 35:09.
Nobody else, right?
No, not from that group. So
has a time, right?
Yeah. I don't know if Michelle's run this year yet. And like I said, Bethany's about a 37. She ran into that last race not expecting to do a solo.
Looks like Michelle did a 36. Looks like Michelle did almost 37 here.
Yep. Yeah.
Bethany did a 37:13. How much time is she going to beat that by, Dave?
This time,
Yeah.
she'll be low 36, high 35.
D'Ambrosa and Navarro podium in Sacramento.
Nice. Yeah, Michelle is great. Every time I've interacted with Michelle, she's been absolutely fantastic.
All right, so now we're going to go with the dudes. I have to
What
open
happened
a
to
new...
Amber?
She just came back.
Oh, there you go.
My phone overheated.
I've had that one happen before.
Me too.
Just out of nowhere. It's fine.
Chelsea says, thanks, coach.
You know how hard it's gonna be not to like root for her as I'm doing like commentary.
You don't have to
pretend.
resist. You just do it. I always did it openly. Forget it. You just say, "Oh yeah, this is what I'm doing," and do it.
It's fine. I might just start cheering. So anybody who's watching the live stream on Saturday, I just start cheering for Chelsea. Just ignore me. It's fine. It's so hard not to.
It is. It is. It is.
I get so excited for our people.
All
What
right,
did I miss?
You missed everything.
So Matt's
No,
just trying to get guys up here.
I was just I pulled up the leaderboard of what somebody would have to get 30. What do we say? 36:15 or better.
No, I think it was somewhere in there. It was 35-ish, something like that.
5-ish Finkel. Okay,
Yeah.
present.
For top
Screen.
10?
Yeah.
No, I'm
but there'll be a
sure-
roll down too.
Okay, so here are the dudes in alphabetical order. So we got old Magida
Nice.
hopping in for his first of the year, right?
Yeah, you got Joe Cotto, who is always good. Jack D, Max Fennel,
God damn, these
Grayson
bros.
Kilgore. Yeah. Magida.
My guy Dustin Needham is
Big
in the
weekend.
house.
We all love Dustin. Mark Polson. He was talk about on fire in the ultra. That guy was amazing. Nice. Yeah. So I mean, this lineup, if healthy, is a Magida race. But I don't know what Magida's health is like right now, how his back is doing.
Mhm.
He's at Joseph Cotto. I think he's got a shot to hand up at the podium. Grayson Kilgore, I would be surprised if he's not on the podium this time. Sorry, Dustin will do well too, but sorry, Dustin. I think these big boys are going to rock you on that bike.
Yeah, it's so
Dustin
hard.
Needham.
because-
Let's go. Let's fucking go.
That's a guy I
like,
want to
I
team up
mean,
with
they can
sometime.
make up a lot of time there, or you can lose a lot of time there, right?
Yeah, I want to team up with Dustin sometimes because he's got those wheels.
He's teaming up with Chelsea this weekend.
I know he
So
is.
shout
That's
out
awesome.
to them.
Yep. Yeah, they're gonna have a great
That'll
time.
be fast. They're gonna do a great time.
So on the men's side, you've got to be
Yeah, you probably sub 32.
31:56. Koto's already got a time. Grayson's already got a time. And that's it for that crew, right?
Yeah, but it's interesting to look at the people who are not in there and how good some of those guys are right now.
So
Mhm.
Adam's there. Adam's got to improve his time. Rakovic has got to improve his time. They're right under the
They're
bubble
right
there.
there.
Yeah. Well, Rakovic has only done one race.
And you know what? There's something to be said just for doing it your second time too.
Mm-hmm. We got our boy Connor Bell there. 22nd. Josh Gonzalez. I mean, Josh could peak. He could get in there.
What's
Good old
Jack
Jack
doing way down
Bauer.
here? What's Jack doing way down here at 32:20?
Times are fast. Well, and the other thing too, look at Mark Polson with the 32:39. I expect him to improve that and get up there into the top 15. Just from his performance in the ultra. Like he was running those in the ultra almost.
So have you talked to these guys? Like, are all those guys going to do Ocala, the last race?
You mean like
before World Champs?
the last one to prep, or you mean Worlds? Because I guess they're both in the same spot.
No, that's what I'm saying. Is that like, is Jack gonna go, or all these guys that haven't popped one yet gonna go? Do you know if people are planning on going to that one? Because I expected more to be in Philly because it's Northeast and that's where a lot of people are, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. I think Florida, the last race of the year routinely has been a really good field, and I don't expect anything different here. I hope Jack goes. I want to see Jack because he's getting fitter and fitter. By the way, I saw your stories the other day, Jack, with the pristine ass to grass thrusters. I mean, you could not get any lower.
2019 Jack Bauer on TMX, not fucking around, right?
No, that was.
But how
that was-
awesome was it to just watch Yancey scream? Like, it went on much longer. I only
Yeah.
included the last 30 seconds. That was a 2-minute clip.
Jack has the hip mobility of a toddler. It was unreal, like right down to his ankles. I'm like, wow, that's impressive.
I was
I
extremely
had no
impressed
idea.
too.
And Jack's a runner. Runners don't usually have that kind of mobility.
Good for Jack out there in the sun, trying not to get burnt.
TMX is awesome. Bring it back. One of my
I
favorite
know
events
we
of all
we
time.
all love TMX. We all love TMX.
So
All right,
glad I
so
got the trip to that one.
let's go to the teams now, and they're not broken up by team.
This is
by the
Amber's
way.
speciality.
Oh, for my
There's
jam.
just
Amber's just gonna look at this and
okay,
go, which one of these
Dave-
chicks am I going to hand their lunch?
Actually,
right,
so
Dave. This
Philly
list
last
though,
year-
it's just
It's tough.
it's
tough.
just all crowded though.
You got to look at the team numbers beside them to pair them up.
Oh my god, 2-person teams.
All right, let me tell you. So right off the bat, Heather White and Bethany
you looking at
McChesney are going to get their qual there. So they, as back-to-back champs, I imagine they will be tough to beat.
and record holders. I mean,
Yeah, it's going to be tough.
anybody
They're gonna be
going
a
to
tough one.
race females, buckle up.
Yeah. There's a spot on the podium taken. So
They've got their pacing down. You know, like they're never the first ones to the lunges ever. They don't need to be. So they work so well together. They know each other's strengths and weaknesses, and I mean that's why they hold the record in the title right now.
that their second half is just deadly because their 2nd half, it looks like they haven't run a first half.
hmm And Bethany does primarily
Dave,
all
are you
running
looking at this
too.
list?
Yeah. No. What's that? Sorry, Matt. What'd you say?
Are you looking at this list?
No.
I said, are you looking at this list?
I know, and I said no.
Can you look at it? I'm not going to pull it up. It's too crazy. You have to look at
I
it
will try. I will try. Yeah. Give me a sec.
because it's way too crazy. So I see Dustin and Chelsea. I see Grayson and Katie. That's Grayson Kilgore and
That'll
Katie
be
Duke of
fast.
Kilgore Coaching.
Super fast.
They've got a really good mile time together right now, like a 14 something, which is exceptionally hard to do.
Well, I believe they beat Anthony and Lauren earlier this year in SoCal, and I think they were on the podium there. Like they are. Katie is just hauling fast, and Grayson's such a powerhouse. Like they are a deadly team.
We've got Tamazing and Dixie Bonner racing together.
There you go.
Yeah, they are.
We love Tim. Tim's great.
Shout out to Tim.
Yeah. Tim and I got to have a good race in Fort Wayne, and in Niagara.
Yeah. 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 We had some back to backs. Had a little podium switch up in
That's right.
Niagara, though.
So does this mean they're only
Who else
racing?
is running female teams then? Like who's
Well, that's
Bethany
what I was
and
going to
Heather going
ask.
against?
Does he have
Really
these?
hard to see.
Does he have these broken up? Like if you're registered for 2 different teams, does he have you both times up here?
Oh yeah. If you're registered for 2 different teams, you'll be up there
Yeah.
twice.
Because I don't see anybody listed twice. I only see people listed once.
Well, not too many people will race 2 teams at a local event because you can't. They set them off too close to each other. You don't know if you'll be able to do it. That only really works at Worlds. Oh, we get the Sharons are going. Just shout out the Sharons.
Oh, shout out to the Sharons.
The Sharons
Love my
are age group 100 to 119, and they run teams in all distances, and I believe they're qualified in all distances with a shot at a podium for all
As of right
distances.
now.
For
Yeah,
age group.
they are. All 3.
Let's see here. Oh, there's so many of these.
Are there any good male teams showing up?
It's really tough to see because of the way they do it, but nothing is jumping out. I'm not seeing any superstar male teams jump out. That could change.
I mean, I
we know
saw
that.
Daniel King on the individual list. Now he's fast. He teamed up with Kevin Gregory earlier this season. And I mean, if you need someone just to run, shout out to anybody listening. I've never met him personally, but I've seen his splits. He's fast. Even in the solo race, you'll see him go super hot. I'm curious to see if he's going to scale that back a little bit this time around.
I had to chase him as a rabbit in the first decade he ran, and he went out like just a bullet.
Yeah, he's got a crazy fast 5K time. So I
Someone-
mean,
what
on a
about
team.
what about Cora and Lily from Pure Impact?
Oh, very
Cora
nice.
and Lily. So they're both 20 years old. So they'll be probably one of the younger teams out there.
Is Cora even
So
20? I
shout
thought
out
Cora
to
was
them.
like 17 or something. I thought she was even younger.
She might be younger than Lily. Lily just
Yeah.
turned 20. I do know that.
Yeah.
So they're going to be a young team. But I love that there's, young females specifically in this sport and just, putting themselves out there like that and being around like this environment, like such a awesome community for, young women to be a part of.
You know what I've noticed about teams that's come out, and it comes out a lot of times, and it came out at your event, so it happens a lot of times. It's just show up and finish. If you just show up and finish, you have no idea what the competition is going to be like that day. You have no idea where you can end up. I've been to races where we ran a time. For example, one and I ran a time in Fort Wayne that we won, but narrowly. That time in another race, the previous one would have had us winning by almost 3 minutes. So it's like age group. So you just show up and run, because you have no idea. You might, and I think it happens a lot in the women's field sometimes, where you'll be like, someone like Cora and Lily, you never know, they could sneak at a podium somehow just because you show up and you finish and you do well and you don't blow up. It's always fun. So yeah, just show up.
I'm going to root for Aaron and Zachary from Spooky Nook Sports Complex, just because that sounds awesome.
That is a very cool name.
Spooky Nook sounds awesome. I'm Googling that right now.
There must be a mural of Scooby-Doo and the Mystery Machine on the wall in that gym.
They have 3 locations: Manheim, PA, Hamilton, Ohio, and Lanco, PA.
Wow.
And yeah, I've never heard of this, but it sounds super cool. They got tournaments. They got basketball tournaments. Look at this.
There you
Spooky Nook.
Wow. Who knew?
Is it not in the
I have
DECA
a lot
gym?
of people to cheer for.
All right, is that it for DECA teams?
I think so. Yeah, the list is a little too hard to figure out. I need to sit there for an hour and get it sorted.
How about Christina?
I would do.
How about Christina and Justin Finkelstein from Fink's Fitness? If you have a cool name, I'm going to root for you.
There you go. This is just like betting on horses for you, isn't it?
Basically, yeah, exactly.
Like when you're a little kid and you go to the horse track and they give you the program and you say, just pick a cool name.
Yeah, of course.
Sorry, maybe only my family took children to the horse track, but they did.
Okay. That might have been all the topics I had. What else did you guys want to talk about?
Well, I thought again I was going to talk about but we did breach at the you're wanting to make a leaderboard. I think for your leaderboard idea, I wouldn't make a HYROX leaderboard. Anthony and I had a small discussion about this.
Okay.
And I think you here, let me retract that. I think Anthony and I make a race for the month, a workout or whatever. You distribute said thing.
Okay.
Anthony and I will make it and judge it. You distribute it. And then you can have a monthly leaderboard, and it can change every month with the workout. And then you can get some swag from some sponsors. And
I love it, especially if you're going to do the work of viewing watching the results and like viewing the stuff, because that sounds like a lot of work. I would say my caveat would be don't change it, because it takes a while to get traction, and like you don't want to have like 8 people the first month and then like you change it. You know what I'm saying? Like, what if you just keep it for at least
but again,
half a year?
If you only get 8 people the first month, then that just show up thing comes into play, especially if they get an award for it. And then they move on, then the next one's going to be bigger.
I think it's exciting.
I think we should talk more offline, but yeah, I think at least half a year, because then people hear about it. It takes a while, even with my magnanimous reach, Dave, of 7,723 followers, whatever I have. It takes a long time for things to go around. I ask people stuff all the time, like, didn't you hear this? They're like, no. So I would say extend it, but I love the idea of Dave and Anthony's special hybrid competition.
Well, that way we can make it a little more accessible for everybody, and that you're not depending on a large HYROX gym events.
Could you do it like you could do it in your backyard?
Yeah, I'm thinking like almost like CrossFit Open-esque.
Yeah, then let's spread it out then, dude. Let's give people 3 months to do it.
I'm fine.
What do you want to call it besides Dave and Anthony's special thing?
I got no names. That's not my department. I'm here to judge. I'm here to find fault with what everybody else does, not actually give any useful suggestions.
All right.
It's like a safety guy. I'm just here to tell you you're doing it wrong, not how to do it right.
No, you have good ideas.
I know. I'm
Sometimes.
just asking.
There's only like
Alright.
few things we disagree on.
Yeah.
What do you disagree with Dave on, Amber?
What did we disagree on?
Substitution rule.
Substitution
one
rule.
of
We
them.
had a little disagreement on that, but it was just not that there should be one, but what the parameters should be.
Yes. And
Yeah.
other than that, I mean, Dave and I are both pretty set in our ways kind of people, and I'm surprised how much we actually agree on when it comes to like rules and things.
Do you think people should be able to sub in whoever they want, Amber?
No, definitely not.
Well, neither does Dave.
Yeah, but again, it's not a huge disagreement. It's just like disagreement on parameters.
Well, we'll save that topic for another day. It's fine.
I'm very interested.
Oh.
I don't even remember
Well,
what you're for. I just know it was a
me?
little bit different. Yeah.
I said we were talking specifically for DECA, and I said you should at the very least have had to have a strong or a mile qualifying time with that person, because we were talking specifically for the fit, because like for example for me, like all my race partners are in the States pretty much, so it's like we get 1 max 2 chances a year to like team up and put in our call time, right? So then, and if somebody gets injured, like I'm pretty much screwed because I've been to 1 fit a year. Anyway, so I suggested that, say, knock on wood, Karen, who's my DECA fit partner, were to get injured, I could say pull in Dave. Well, no, not Dave because he's male. Say another female, Bethany. Say Bethany and I had a mile time together and she was there. I could pull her in because we've previously put in a DECA qualifying time of some sort. Dave didn't like that idea though.
My thought was I didn't think it needed to be there. I thought that you could just pull in. You didn't need the mile time together. So, for example, even if her and Bethany hadn't run a mile time together, she could still use Bethany. That kind of thing. So that was just.
But then I could pull in Tara Jackson.
Yeah,
or
I'm okay
I
with
could
that.
pull
Too.
in Lauren Weeks or
I'm okay
Tia
with that too.
Toomey.
I'm okay with
Like
that too.
that's just.
I'm actually okay with that. I really am. I really am. I don't. I helped with the ruling. We both did, and I actually went back. I'm more the guy who's like, bring in anybody. I don't care. Like if you earned a qual spot and you can make a better team because your other teammate is hurt or injured or not going, I'm fine with that. Because in my mind, you want the best teams there. Qualification standards are to keep teams that are not good enough out, not to keep teams that are too good out. So,
Well, they do have a sub rule now.
Dave,
we were both
you're
involved
saying
in that.
so Dave, were you saying that as long as they're there, like they're already there doing another event?
No. Are you asking how I would have done it if it was just up to me?
Yes.
I would have done it. For example, let's say I'm going with a teammate. I've qualified as a male elite, say, and my partner goes down due to injury or whatever. I have that qualifying spot and I can bring in whoever I want as long as it's another guy. That's
okay, so why?
Why? Because then I'm putting in his best team as I can.
No, but why would you make a rule that means you don't ever have to have done one before to show up and compete at a world championship? Like what kind of sport is that?
Because it's for the relay. So the one person has got the qual, right? Like so put it this way.
I think Matt's on my side, just saying.
Yeah, I'm just surprised you're saying this, Dave.
No, but that's how I like. Yeah, I like it. I want the best possible teams there. So
I qualify, my partner gets injured.
Yep.
And I call P. Vellner and I go,
cool.
what are you doing this weekend? And he's like, yeah, sure, I'm down. Like that should be allowed.
I'm okay with that. Totally.
Okay. All right. Well, I definitely disagree.
From my perspective, why wouldn't I be?
Why wouldn't you be?
Yeah, why wouldn't I be okay with that?
Because it's about fairness. Competition is about equal playing field and fairness. And qualifying is
this is about who's the best.
Okay, so why don't you just say I have a proxy and it's Pat and Brent Fikowski. Neither of us have done it, but they're my proxy because we want the best people. That doesn't make any sense at all, Dave.
Because one of you hasn't qualified. You haven't done a qualification.
But your team hasn't done a qualification at all. The team is two
Doesn't matter.
people.
Yeah, but one
I
person
can't believe we're
does.
in
If
this
one person has
conversation
a
with you.
qualification, you're in.
That makes. Why do you think if it was about just having the best people? Why do you think they have like trade deadlines?
That's a different thing when you're talking about a whole giant team and you're talking about a playoff system. This is just a one race thing. So let me use your CrossFit example. If Tia Toomey and Matt Frazier went and ran a deca mile together and qualified, right? Tia goes down.
Right.
Then Matt has to pick someone else who can do a deca, or can he pick someone else from his world? Like, I would think it'd be fine for him to say, okay, David's daughter, I want you, come on, I have a call spot and I need someone to run with me.
Again, the team is what qualified. The team, not one person of the team.
Yeah, but it's your team is 50%. That's still 50% of your team is still there.
Yeah, the other half is not there.
Yeah, so they got hurt. You got to fill them in. Wait, okay,
I'm
hold
so
on.
glad I brought this up.
So hold
I'm
on.
just like sitting back enjoying all of this.
If you're in the Olympics figure skating, right?
Right.
You're getting ready to go to the Olympics to go figure skating, right? Your partner goes down.
Right.
Is there a rule saying that your replacement partner has to have done certain things before?
I'm guessing.
Well, you're wrong. There's not. I looked it up.
Okay, so that's dumb. Figure skating's dumb.
I'm just saying that there's precedent for that when it's a two-person team.
So here's what I say if I'm making the rules.
Anyway, that's
Amber,
not the rule.
if Amber does a bunch of Deca Strongs and one of her people goes down and the other team like qualified, then yeah, sure. Then she's basically just another team.
Well,
but
you know what the rule is now, though?
No, I don't. What is it now?
So the rule
they had to
is
change
now,
it because you cheated. I know that. You and Bethany cheated, I think, or Heather cheated. Somebody cheated.
Kevin cheated. It was Kevin Gregory who cheated.
Oh, okay. There you go. I knew somebody did.
There was so many people who had replacements on that podium. That podium wouldn't exist without replacements. Okay. So the rule is now, if let's just use Amber and I as a team. Amber and I have qualified as a team. We're going. Okay. I get hurt. I can't go. Now Amber can replace me with someone who is, she can replace me as long as I'm not going to the event at all. Other than maybe as a spectator. I can go as a spectator or coach or whatever, but not as a competitor. So then she can replace me as long as it's someone in the same bracket. So same, if it's an age group, same age group. If it's a gender, same gender. She can replace me for that so that she can continue on. And as long as that person is also not qualified for some other qualification in that race. So they can't have been on part of another team that's going to that race.
I don't understand.
So here's this is where it's tricky. So just for example, I mean, this is where it's a little sticky though. So Kevin and I, for example, have our qual time in, we're racing world. However, Kevin also has like 50 other female partners he's got to choose from. I don't have another co-ed time in the leaderboard right now. So if Kevin didn't choose to race with me, I would be out of the running for the co-ed field. Yeah. Because Kevin's racing in
that is the question
event, which is also shitty though, because
that's the question is who owns a spot, you or Kevin? And that I can see is definitely
well. So what Dustin? Here's why it's not. Dustin says then you can just grab a stud like Rylan and win and split the prize money. Right? Just grab the fastest person available and cool.
So like, if you grab the fastest person available and you win, that means you're the best
because
no, it doesn't.
Yeah, but technically, because my qualified partner is in the field, I would be So it's sticky though, because then it's like, who says he gets the spot? Why don't I get to choose? Right? That's where there's the only stickiness now in this new rule.
Hang on a second. Heather White said, "What prize money?" I was alerted today.
It's coming.
I was alerted today that you were caught up. According to Yancey, you're caught up. Is that not true?
I didn't get mine yet, but I got a notification that it's coming.
23 is caught up. 2023 is caught up. That's what he said.
No, I think that they've caught up on solos, but not teams yet.
The teams is coming because I got my notification a few days ago to do XYZ because payment's on the way. So for
go
teams,
to bill.com.
It's coming. Yeah.
That's hard for us. That thing doesn't work well for us, does it?
No, it's not good.
No. You know what else? You know what else doesn't work well for you guys? Venmo.
Yeah,
we don't even have Venmo.
That. But our system works for here. Like we email transfer funds back and forth, no problem. Yeah. It's just all through the bank. No third party.
Listen. I don't know if there's an American that loves Canadians more than me, but I'm just bummed out. You guys can't get it together with the app on the money system.
Yeah,
but that's why it's good that you paid people in cash though. That's good. You paid with the fake Canadian money.
It's the best money. You can tell it apart.
Dustin is asking,
pretty-
is teams paying out this year?
I believe so.
Yeah, they paid out last year.
Should we go
Well,
to the
they
HYROX? Should we go to the
offered
HYROX
prizes.
Zendesk?
They-
HYROX Zendesk?
Sorry. What's it called? Decafit.
To
Decafit.
the best of my knowledge, they're paying out the same as they did last year. That's
I
my
believe so.
understanding. And
Okay, just in
hopefully-
case my phone overheats again, because it might. Earlier, when we kind of went on a rampage about volunteers and all that, I just want to thank everybody who does take the time to volunteer. Whether you've made good calls or bad calls or not, these events don't happen without volunteers. So shout out to everybody. We appreciate your time and your efforts. So I just want to say that before my phone overheats again in case I disappear, because I probably won't log back on.
100% right. All right.
So now if I overheat and disappear, I don't feel bad.
Okay, thank you for saying that. Here we go. Decafit Elite 32155. Do you guys see that?
Yep.
Strong, same thing. Age group,
No,
just
no payout.
podium prize, and recognition, though. You do get recognition.
Yeah.
Teams 164.
Yep.
So that's not bad.
Yeah, so that's the same as last year, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, guys, before you overheat again, I think we should jump off. I think this was a great chat. Thank you for coming on. Dave can be found on the OFX podcast. He's coming up to episode 200 or 300, something.
We're past 200 now. I think we're on 203 or 204. One came out
All right.
today.
With whom?
This was with the people from Warrior Wolf Challenge, which is a that's right, multi-event fitness competition. It'll be going on again in October. And I actually really liked a lot of their layout and a lot of the things. They had a lot of answers for the questions that I have for a lot of events. So looks good. Small competition, but looks like it's a really good one. Last year's champs were Kevin Gregory and Tara Jackson.
I'm sorry, I totally lost my train of thought. Amber,
Yeah, what's up?
do you want to promote anything? Do you want to promote yourself? Do you want to promote your gym?
Yeah, so my gym's Pure Impact Athletics. I'm most active on Instagram. I do online remote coaching, train with Tait. So yeah, mostly just find me on Instagram. Shout out to all my people. Shout out to Ramfit Canada. Already did that one.
And last chance qualifier for your DECA in September.
Yeah, we got a big DECA Strong and Mile coming up on the 14th and 15th of September.
Dave, I have a question.
To qualify. Yeah.
I have a question for you, Dave.
Fire.
We spent a lot of time, I feel like, on these calls, and we talked about, when's the big HYROX coming, and then it finally came. Is there a Decafit coming to Canada?
Soon. All I
Maybe
will say,
2025. Maybe 2025.
2025. 2025.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's clearly not this year. They've already had their schedule, but I'm saying, like, have those conversations being had?
Conversations have
Yes.
been being had. We'll put it that way.
Yes.
Okay. So
The
if you were
ball
gonna,
is rolling. I can tell you that.
if you were gonna put a percentage on it, a Decafit will happen in Canada in 2025. Blank percent would you say gonna happen? Dave, what would you say?
75.
Amber, what would you say?
100%.
Ooh.
You know something Dave doesn't, or you're just being super positive?
Oh, her phone overheated and she's got to go.
Do you think she knows something you don't know?
What's that?
Do you think she knows something you don't know, or you think she's just being positive?
I'm not at liberty to say.
Okay. All right. Well, Dave, always going to talk to you.
You too.